Seven Trumpets Prepper. Guys, in this video today, I just want to take a moment and talk with you. While I was out here working in my workshop today and doing some stuff with the tiny house, is I have concluded over my lifespan, which is only 31 years at this point, but I have noticed from a child up that there is those that will never, ever come to the knowledge of the truth. Especially over the years producing this YouTube channel, I got to be honest with you, at this point in time, conjuncture, where I'm at right now, there's a lot of people that I'll cross their paths, and I call it poking the pig, is I will literally test their spirit, just to see where they're at, because they say one way, but their life totally is another. And I've noticed that if you take the big three, okay, most people will never overcome these three. And because of it, I honestly believe many of them will never inherit the kingdom, okay? Because at the core root of these, all these have a salvational inclination to it, per se. And the first and foremost, and these are in no particular order, but I've noticed this cumulative over all these years, that you will break people with these three. Like, it is just, it is inconceivable in their mind for them to accept, acknowledge, and live a life this. And before I mention those three, I'd also like to just tip that iceberg just a little further, is I've noticed from the lowest of people, just the simplest of people, common people from day to day, to very high up people, very powerful, very wealthy people. And yes, I do know some of those people here and abroad. All across the board, even people right here on YouTube that have a huge following will do a Nicodemus. They'll be like, well, come to you by night or by darkness. And it's like, yeah, I know what you're saying is true, but I just, I can't walk in it. And there's those people, a lot of them, okay? And like I said, this makes up a collective. So what are those three big ones, Luke? Well, first and foremost is the Sabbath, the Creator's appointed times by His calendar. People absolutely lose their mind if you tell them, the Roman calendar's wrong, SAT day worship, SUN day worship, all this stuff, it's an abomination. It's from Rome, the great whore Babylon. You tell people this and they lose their mind. And if you want to check out the Creator's calendar link right there, you can check it out. You can also visit worldslastchance.com. Outstanding resource on the Creator's appointed times. But guys, I've noticed, especially as this channel has picked up subscribers over the past year, it is just like bombing out with questions. Why is things this way? All I can say is it's man's hardened heart, okay? Because when you present this truth, like the next one, which I think is a hard hitter as well, is the true Hebrew Israelites. People cannot accept that Messiah was a dark-colored man. The fact that you just acknowledge that your Savior is a dark-colored person. Okay, I'm not going to say black, because some people take offense to that. I'm not going to say the N-word, because that's just horrible. People have so many different reference terms for it, but dark melanin, very dark melanin human being. Okay, he was a white guy. Okay, that's Caesar Borgias or whatever. The picture that you see circulated the most of what would be Messiah is actually, I forget now. See, this slips my mind. I have to put the link to it. It's some guy in Europe. He had himself, his son or himself painted to represent. Anyways, it's Caesar Borgias or something like that is actually the guy who you see so often depicted as Messiah. But he's a dark man, and people lose their mind. Listen, folks, at the end of the day, it's not about whether he's, a dark man, a white man, Asian, Hispanic, non-Latino, Latino, I don't know, whenever you fill a firearm form, they ask if you're Hispanic, non-Latino, blah, blah, it's crazy. Anyway, it doesn't matter who you are. What matters at the core root of it is that people can't accept that that's the truth. It's not, and you say, well, now that's not really a salvational issue, because keeping the Sabbath, now that breaks the commandment, I get that. But this really doesn't come down to salvation issue. What it is, folks, it really, at times, I think personally, it starts to lean that way, and I'll tell you for why. Is because if you tell people that Messiah is a dark-colored man, some people, that's a deal breaker for them. Their heart is so filled with racism, it's so filled with hate, it's so lost beyond repair, I personally think. And this doesn't just go for people that are not dark colored. I see dark colored people all the time that are some of the most racist human beings on earth. Furthermore, some of the true Hebrew Israelites are some of the most jacked up people in the face of the earth. They're either come in two varieties, honestly. Super nice people or really, really bad people. And people's like, I can't understand that. And I can. It's because it's a heart issue. You have to understand them people are still under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And all this I've talked about, you can check right here, the true Hebrew Israelites. But this, ladies and gentlemen, that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. I hate it's the situation. I love all humanity. I want to see everyone saved, but at the end of the day, you have to understand there's many people that are never going to come to the knowledge of the truth. They're never going to accept Messiah. They're never going to make an effort to keep the commandments. I mean, you get people put down a piece of pork nowadays, it's like killing them. I mean, and that's just a simple thing to help keep your health well. You know, the Most High didn't tell you that just to be mean. Everything in the commandments is for a good reason. I assure you that. And the last one, which absolutely makes my day most days. I got to be honest with you. Like the other day, I posted the video. You can check that one out right there if you missed it. And it is like people, I think if they could like run me through with a sword, they would. I mean, I think there's some of them out there. It's just like that. It invokes the worst in them. And what is that? Well, it's flat earth. I seen an NBA player come out about it the other day. You know, B.O.B., that one blew up good. I thought that one was going to be quite a dent in NASA. And now the NBA thing, that's looking really healthy. There's so many great people coming out, engineers, scientists, sports stars, athletes, musicians, simple farmers, and people like me that crank a wrench, bolt down solar panels, farm. You know, it's great. It's all across the board. And there's that big sifting going on right now. And what I see, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful thing. And I'm sorry to be so like, I know usually I'm so laid back, but today I'm just fired up. This is just like boiling in my soul. Is that I see this sifting, and it is an amazing thing because it's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a Chinese thing. It's not a Mexican thing. I mean, it's just all walks of life and people. Their heart is just turning to the Most High. And the flat earth thing, it is such a shame, I would say, and especially in the Christian community, such an abomination to see all these atheist people never want to come to a church, never want to pick up a Bible, never want to believe in the Most High. And they start looking at the flat earth thing, and their mind, it's just like, and that big flash and a nuclear explosion, and their life changes forever. And it's because they figure out real quick, we're in a Truman Show. I know that's hard for me to accept and believe, but I'm in a Truman Show. We live in a flat, geostationary earth that's not movable. It's covered by a firmament dome. It protects us. It's pressurized. There's water above the dome. There's water below. The Most High's throne room is very, very above that. The stars and everything's fixed in the firmament of heaven moves around us. I know it sounds like Minecraft. I know it sounds insane. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That is how it is. And you know, at the end of the day, this is where it gets to with me, okay? I laughed at it. People come to this channel and absolutely lose their mind that I believe the flat earth. Listen, I didn't always used to be like that. I didn't always used to believe Messiah was a dark man. I didn't always used to keep the Sabbath. Not that I didn't try on that one. I just didn't know no better, okay? I went with the rest of the pagans to the SUN Day Church, okay? So I didn't know no better, all right? But there comes a time when you know to do better, and it's time to do it. So the fact that the Most High's world is what it is, it's time for you to accept it and move on. I know that NASA's indoctrinated us all our life. I know that the first thing you got hammered when you went to school was that little globe and you spin around like, we live here. I understand that there's so many questions you start to ask, but when you start asking them, if you ask yourself honestly, it's like, okay, where's the curvature drop? That's the first thing I went to, guys, because I live in the tech world. And then I'm going to get to why this is a salvational issue, okay, for you in this video. But I live in the tech world. So the first thing I go to is, okay, you're telling me it drops 1,000 feet out there, X amount of distance, it's going to drop this much distance. Okay. All right, so let me go to a fixed point between A and B that I know that's there, this is here, that's that elevation, this is this elevation, and I still see you. Okay? It should be like, here's the globe model. It should be like, but instead I see straight on. And there is so many tests being done out there. See, the problem is, it's not that you can't go look. Somebody's like, please post a picture of, just one picture of the flat earth. Well, I would rebuttal, post me one picture of the real globe. I mean, like, not Photoshop, not from NASA.com, from some joker that has actually gotten a hot air balloon up there without a GoPro and showed the curvature. Because there's all sorts of folks up there getting it up there and seeing the flat horizon for as far as you can see. And don't tell me you have to get higher. No, 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 no. The boys in NASA say X amount of distance, you're already dropping. All right, so you'd have to tip down. And guys, I could argue about this all day. I'm not going to argue. See, it's not a hard fact for me to accept. Like my wife said, she didn't care if it's square. What it really boils down to, and I love a wise woman. A wise woman is a treasure, I'm telling you, is because what it really boils down to at the end of the day is it square? Is it round? Is it flat? Is it flat with a dome? You know, all these questions. Is it, the ice rings at the edge of the dome? What really matters is that we're being lied to. And now, you might say, well, you rambled about all that. Why is it a salvational issue? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Big Bang, Darwinism, aliens, which we all know that demons are in this world, powers and principalities are in there. If you have knowledge of the Scripture, you would know that. Okay, so when you see a great deception one day that they say aliens have come and all this stuff, if you've known about the flat Earth, if you've known about if you know the theater of operations that we're in, for those of you who served in the military, okay, number one thing you want to know is where your battlefield is, and you want to know everything about your enemy. All right, troop movements, where they're at, who we fighting, what they got, what's their arsenal. These are things that I would think, especially some of you military people slaying me so hard about the flat Earth, these would be things I would think you'd want to know. All right, and the moment that you come to the knowledge that the game field, the battlefield may be changed, then one would think in wisdom that you would want to research that to find out if it be so. Because if it is, then that means that our enemy has quite a few things up his sleeve. And the reason that it's a salvational issue is because they're hiding the Most High God. They are robbing people of knowing who made them. There is a divine creator. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why some of you hate me so bad, or some people hate those of us that tell truth so bad, because most of us that tell the truth, we're humble people that will be the first to tell you that if I'm standing in front of the Most High today, and I was the Most High, and I don't want to be blasphemous, I'm just giving an example, I would not let myself in the new kingdom. Is that too hard to understand? So if a man is that humble, that least to be that even an inch prideful, and say that to you, would it not actuate in the mind, this guy may have a point. This guy may be on to something. The fact that the world says this is the calendar, this is the Sabbath. But yet so many other people, this small faction is trying to do that which is right. Throws a red flag. The fact that so many Hebrew Israelite, the so-called black man, these dark-colored people, that if you look at Deuteronomy 28, you're like, man, no wonder these people act so jacked up. The more I look at it, they fit the bill. And they're the only people fit the bill. Bless their heart. You see that, and then you're like, that kind of makes a lot of points to me now, because I see how Roman Catholicism whitewashed everything. And I wish they would have done some other color. No disrespect to the rest of the colors of the humanity, but it just makes it so hard on us white people, because that just makes the Hebrew Israelites, the moment they wake up, first person to go to hating's me. Guys, I don't hate nobody. And listen, if I was a Hebrew Israelite, the one entity I'm going to hate, to be honest with you, and I'd have to pray about that, would be my ancestors, because they're the reason you're in the vineyard today, because if they weren't ridiculous acting back in the day, who knows, half the world would probably be servants today anyway under the kingdom. Just a thought on that. And so, lastly, the flat earth, that, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how bad, I guess I would equate this to what my friend Randy said at the tiny house lot the other day. He said when the tiny house community, me and him well abreast of what's going on out there, said there's a fight coming, there's a war coming. And there is a war coming for the tiny house crowd out there. I'm not meaning to get off subject, but, in those same words of my friend, there's a war coming. There's a war coming for the minds of humanity. And you're either going to give in to deception, you're either going to be quailed into deception because it's like, oh man, my whole family believes this, and if I step outside the bounds, I'm going to be outcast. So be it. You know what? Freaking kill me. All right? Because you can take my life, but as in the words of Braveheart, you'll never take my freedom. You will never take my conscience. What's the word I want to say here? There's a word that's on my heart that I really want to say. Essence. You will never take my essence. You may spill my blood out on the ground. You may kill me. You may take everything from me. But at the end of the day, you'll never get my essence. And in the new kingdom, when the regeneration, when those dead in Messiah rise, it's going to be game over for the rest of them jokers that want to take you out, that want to fight, again, and wanted to be rebellious, because I promise you, in the new world, you're not going to be rebellious if you make it. It's this stuff's going to stop. So, guys, that's the big three that, to me, constantly show me the hearts and natures of mankind. Because if they're not in open rebellion against the Most High over His Sabbath, over His appointed times of worship, if they're not in open rebellion against Him through His people, if they're not in open rebellion against Him through His creation itself, then they probably have a heart to love it. And they probably are genuine good people. And I've seen some people that used to be atheists. I've seen people from different walks of life make a complete turnaround because of these points. And I think it is a beautiful thing. And for those of you who can't get behind that, well, tough love, baby. Because Most High is going to win in the end. And if you can't accept these, you probably won't be part of the new kingdom. Just throwing that out there for you. So it's probably time to unharden that heart and accept this. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go and work while there's light, because the night cometh when no man can labor. And an eternal night is coming for some of you out there if you don't get your heart right. I don't mean to sound like a preacher here, but I'm just calling it like I see it. And I just wanted to make that as a blanket statement, not only to people that question me on these things, but to my subscriber base, to anybody out there. I love each and every person in humanity. I hope each and every one of you, we all can make it in the new kingdom. Pray for me, and I pray that we all see each other together one day. Until then, hope you have a most blessed day in Yahuwah's name.